Yo, what's going on everybody? It's Zombo here, and today we have a little bit of a special and unique video here. This one is, for lack of a better term, going to be a 2022 review of myself, but beyond that, it's also talking about kind of the channel and things going forward as well in the future. So it's like a review and reflect of sorts. So without further ado, let's just kind of get into things here. So starting off, I want to address that as I just stated, there's kind of a bit of topics that are going to be talked about, some things kind of the past year and games that I played during that, and me kind of talking about certain experiences that I had, to kind of present day stuff, things that are happening like right now, things like live streams, and maybe things that I'm working on, and as well as things for the future, what series are coming up, what kind of things you guys can expect in the future and going into 2023 here. So to make this a little bit more streamlined, because some of you guys are going to have topics that I'm going to discuss that you guys aren't interested in, so to tailor to that a little bit more, I will be doing chapters in this video, so you'll be able to skip to the certain chapter. If you look at the little timeline or the bar, you could skip around to chapters, or you can look in the description and pick the timestamps there as well, which I have the brief description next to those. So whichever you prefer. So let's kind of start where this channel kind of began, honestly, and that is a little bit over a year ago now. January 2nd is when I posted my first episode. I created the channel on December 27th, I believe it was, and a lot has happened since then. I mean, a lot of good, some bad things as well, and that's kind of what this whole section that I'm going to talk about is all about, is kind of the past year. So hopefully you guys are interested in this. I'll be giving you guys some of my own opinions and thoughts on things that have happened in this year, and hopefully it's intriguing. So starting with my very first series that I ever uploaded, and that was Final Fantasy VII. It was one that I kind of knew going into YouTube that I'm like, you know, this game I know has a lot of people who enjoy it. I'm like, this seems like a pretty good game to start with. Maybe I can get some people's attention with it and they'd be interested in it. And at the very least, I'm really excited to play it, and I really want to play it myself as well. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. And I think I probably had that in my head for maybe a year, honestly, that this game's going to be the game that I play. This is the one that I'm going to play. Because that game came out in 2020 and of April, because I remember it was right at the beginning of COVID. It wasn't immediately then. I almost bought it actually then, because I knew Final Fantasy VII was big, but I didn't end up getting it. And later on, then I'm like, this is gonna be my first series. But anyway, so I ended up recording that, and it was the first thing I ever recorded, so I was really nervous, and I think that was really apparent in my very first upload. And I even just like, this is the first thing I recorded ever on this channel, very first video, and I was especially nervous about talking to myself essentially in front of a camera and being able to continue to talk throughout an entire episode, which at that point I was shooting for something like an hour is what I was shooting for. A lot of those episodes at that time were over an hour. It was daunting for someone who is antisocial, an introvert, and hasn't always performed well in those kind of social environments and talking in general. It was a lot, and it was something that I really needed to overcome, and I'm very proud of how I did. That series, you know, started off slow for me, but it kind of picked up the pace, and it started to get more attention and more views and watch time especially, that's the number I really care about, because, you know, I can get 1,000 views and that's great, but if they're not watching my video, then who really cares? I want to make something for people to enjoy, and if they're not enjoying it, then those numbers don't really mean anything to me. But this series was different. It though there were high numbers and some people would click it and click off, it was a lot of watch time, and to this day, that is my most watched series ever, and has the most watch time and everything. I look at my little graph on YouTube where it says watch time throughout the year, and this right now, actually, currently, this is the next biggest spike I've had since then. So hopefully we're in the right direction. It's either that or it's just Crisis Core's going up right now, and that's Final Fantasy VII related, so it just might be the game. But I mean, not only was this a series that people clearly enjoyed, but I also got so much support from it, and it really, I said this in a stream not too long ago that Final Fantasy VII really changed my life. And it's due to the fact that I think it was my first series, and even more so that the support I got on it, the people watching, and I had people going through the whole series and commenting on every video, and not just one either. I had more than one person doing that. And then at the end, I got even more people who had watched my series and just like, hey, I had a really fun time. You're really fun to watch. Or, oh, it was a great series. Good job. And keep going. You know, you got this. You know, you're starting out small and you'll get there. And it was just so much support and positive feedback. And it was really incredible. And I don't think I would have such an easy time going forward from that if it didn't have that. It's so easy to be on YouTube and start something and see that it doesn't do well and give up. But I saw that feedback, and to this day, I know that happened. And what that tells me is I can do it. I've done it. I've made something that people enjoy and care about. To know that I am capable of doing it makes it a hell of a lot easier to do what I do. And I had that mindset throughout the rest of the year. And I mean, I just really wanted to draw attention to this game and how important it was to me, and you guys who also supported me during that series. To this day, that is my favorite series. I am going to have a very hard time having a series that is going to beat that one. And I think the only thing that might potentially beat that one is maybe a series that really freaking takes off and really skyrockets or something with support and viewership and just community interaction, because I love connecting with you guys. It's my favorite thing to do. When I upload a video and I see comments coming in that I can respond to and read, I love it so much. If there's any reason for me doing YouTube, it is to make things for you guys to enjoy and then interact and talk about it and react to it with you guys in the comments and respond. And that is so important to me, and it's been very important to me since day one. So that series is just really hits home for me and really is like the core when it comes to my YouTube channel. When I see my outro, I cannot watch my outro without thinking of that series. It's just iconic to me. And I know there'll be someday when I probably change my outro, but for right now it is what it is. I haven't really thought about a new outro or anything, and I don't know how necessary it is. But anyways, moving on from that one, I then started Elden Ring after that, and it was a different task at hand, because the difference between that game and Final Fantasy VII was Final Fantasy VII was a game that had been out since April of 2020. Elden Ring had just released when I started recording. I literally took off work on that Friday so I could specifically record it and get to editing that first episode so I could upload it as soon as possible. And so that's what I did. And I uploaded, I even made a little trailer for it that I then uploaded, literally like, hey, this is what this series is going to be, to really hype it up. And I wasn't expecting it to really get that many views or anything, because I feel like that's more tailored towards my audience and who would have subscribed to me from my channel from Final Fantasy VII. And I also didn't do a very good thumbnail for it, honestly. It was pretty lackluster, and I wasn't very good at thumbnails back then. And I wouldn't say I'm very good at them now either, but I would definitely say I'm better at the thumbnails now than I was then. But anyway, so I did that. It got a few views, and I was really proud of it, but it didn't really go all crazy or anything. The first episode went up, and it didn't do as hot as I hoped it would. And then I kept posting more episodes, and it just was really bad. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to feel about this. But I was loving the game, and I was having a great time doing it. And then I'm like, why is this happening? And I had to really self-reflect on it. And I'm like, I started my channel. People who are subscribed to me are probably into Final Fantasy. And I'm like, okay, but maybe they're into other games as well. So then I posted a video being like, hey, what kinds of games would you guys be interested in? Because clearly I could see that they weren't as interested in Elden Ring. You know, I got some feedback on there, not too much. And so then I took those comments, and I'm like, okay, I did see some more Final Fantasy interest in there. And I'm like, all right, what's another Final Fantasy game that I have that I would be interested in playing? And I'm like, all right, Final Fantasy 15. So I started playing that then at the same time as Elden Ring. And this was the first time then on my channel where I actually was doing 2 games at once. I liked it. I liked it. I was able to experience more games, and I'm like, this is good moving forward. I can do this. And so I was doing that, and Final Fantasy 15 started off, I think, better than Elden Ring, but it did not really last. And I think the huge factor of that is, unlike Elden Ring, I did not like Final Fantasy 15. It wasn't so bad at first. I'm like, okay, I just need to get into it. And there were certain aspects of it that I'm like, all right, well, this is really cool. And this is kind of hype, and it got my energy level up a little bit. But for the most part, I wasn't enjoying it. I experienced some glitches in that game as well. Nothing like fully game breaking necessarily, but it definitely didn't help the experience that I was having of already not liking the game. And it was really hard by the end of the game. And it's something that when you're recording a series and you don't like what you're doing, you can tolerate it. You're like, all right, well, I can deal with it. But the amount you can deal with like starts to decay the longer the series goes. And by the end, and I was starting to record final episodes, and even editing was even harder to do and go through. It was horrible for me. I hated it so much. I was under the kind of ideology that I don't want to do a series and not finish it. But after that series, I'm like, for my mental health and for the quality of my videos, it's something that I just have to stop. I just have to not do it. But once that game was done, that's when I started to get into Kingdom Hearts then. So it was Elden Ring and Kingdom Hearts. Due to the fact that I was hoping Kingdom Hearts would be better than Elden Ring, because my viewership still on Elden Ring was not very good. So I switched that to the 2 days a week, and Kingdom Hearts would be the 3. And I was really nervous going into Kingdom Hearts. One, it was a series that's really long. If I do the first game, there's a bit more pressure to continue all of them, especially if there's interest in the series. And I wasn't sure how I would enjoy it necessarily. And more importantly, I wasn't sure how the audience was going to enjoy it, especially with the fact that I had played the games before. And the idea I had was pulling somebody on then to be with me in that series who's never experienced the game before. So it was also my first collaborative experience. And I was able to test in Elden Ring how I was collaboratively, and I quite enjoyed how it worked out with Rain, and that is obviously who I ended up bringing on to the Kingdom Hearts. So Elden Ring was kind of the tester. So there's I think there was, roughly speaking, I think there was 20 episodes or so in Elden Ring that I actually did record with Rain, and she was there. I mean, if that's interesting to anybody, it's kind of in the middle of the pack of Elden Ring episodes, but it was definitely really fun, especially some of the first ones that we did were really iconic to me too. There's some iconic moments in there that me and Rain still joke about to this day. But anyways, yeah, so Kingdom Hearts kind of started, and it went okay. I won't say it did it wasn't anything like Final Fantasy 7, but it definitely did better than Elden Ring, and it did better than Final Fantasy 15. As we went through more games, and especially once we got to KH2, that is when it kind of picked up a little bit more. And I think just the fact that we're further in the series, and maybe we were able to gain some certain viewers from the previous series. But I think what really spoke volumes is, I mean, I don't want to speak for Rain necessarily, but at least on my end, I got more comfortable being there also with somebody and going through Kingdom Hearts in general, and really being more connected to the characters again and all of that. And I want to note too, going into the Kingdom Hearts game and into the very first game, I did hours and hours and hours of research to make sure I knew the story. I watched a lot of the cutscenes and the games and all that. I played some of them and at least experienced them in some way or another. And so I had the story down, but I didn't want to mess anything up because I'm kind of the lore guy. I wanted to be the guy in the videos that people can look to for an explanation on something, while Rain can be there being the one questioning and being the one experiencing these things for the first time and reacting to that. I was happy with how it went and how well I was able to keep my mouth shut about things, because it's hard when you have all this knowledge in your head about the game, and you see something, you're like, oh, I know what that means, but you can't really say anything on it. And I was proud of how well I was able to keep my mouth shut. We kind of just finished Kingdom Hearts 2, and we're going to be going on to more games in the future, but it was a wonderful experience, and especially by KH2 when we started to get a little bit more viewership interaction and people tuning into the videos and enjoying them. It's been great, and I hope that keeps continuing going forward as we're building up more and more of these games to watch and experience with us, especially as Rain is experiencing it for the first time. So it's really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the future. And me and Rain both seem to be always excited to play Kingdom Hearts. This little hiatus we've had from Kingdom Hearts has been a little bit hard on both of us, I guess, in the sense that we both want to get back into Kingdom Hearts. So it's exciting, and I look forward to more in the future. And I also want to touch note on Little Nightmares and House of Ashes too, that came in the fall there around Halloween, because I'm like, I've never done a horror game before. I've never really played a horror game before. I will say House of Ashes, deal with the bad news first, was the worst series and the worst uploads I have ever done ever on my channel. And I have done over 250 uploads now on my channel, and those were definitely the worst. It was horrible. I mean, I still uploaded all the episodes. It wasn't a very long series or anything anyways, and they're there. It's not like they're inherently terrible to watch necessarily, but it just wasn't people's cup of tea, and I suppose it doesn't probably have as big of a viewing base as some of these other mainstream games. But anyways, moving on to the better news, which is Little Nightmares. I freaking love that game, and I'm really glad I played that, and that gave me a new experience on this channel and with horror games in general that I really enjoyed. I think with how big of a baby I am playing horror games, it really opened a door for me to play more in the future and kind of be excited for it and also scared at the same time. I'm more okay being scared when I know that people will get enjoyment from it. Like if it's just me, if I was just playing a horror game by myself, I would hate it. I would hate every minute of it. I'm like, nope, I'm not touching that thing. But when I'm playing it, knowing that somebody else can look at my pain and get some level of joy out of it, I'm like, at least I'm making someone else's day better, and it makes it all worth it. So it's something that I'd love to do more in the future, and I'd love to try more horror games. I know I've watched a lot of horror games before on YouTube, because I know I haven't really played many. So the list of horror games that I could potentially play that would really be new to me and you'd get real good reactions out of me from are a little bit slimmer in that regard. But if you guys have any really good ideas, definitely feel free to leave them down below, whether it's a mainstream game or not. I mean, I'll definitely check them out. I realized I almost forgot to talk about Crisis Core, which is kind of the latest series that's been on my channel and occurred at the end of 2022. And so that series has been absolutely amazing. I've been loving that series. I was a little bit nervous about doing that because, like Elden Ring, I did this game pretty much right after release. It was a couple days after. And I felt like it was gonna have a similar reaction as Elden Ring did, where it didn't really do very well. But I was pleasantly surprised, and it kind of took off pretty quickly, and that was actually very wonderful to see. And I still get certain episodes that really take off as well on it. Some of them more so than even on my original playthrough of the part 1. But it definitely doesn't have the same watch time as part 1. Like that's still to this day, that's my best series, hands down. But this one has also been doing very well, and that's wonderful to see. And I also appreciate Dee in the comments, who's been all up in those comments helping with that sick lore, and got some funny jokes in there, and just the interaction has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Dee, for being there for that. And obviously I also started Pokemon Scarlet this year too, and the feedback on the streams has been very good. I was very worried going into it, but I was able to there was a lot of views on certain ones. The watch time wasn't completely there, but there's some little interest in what I'm doing that people are at least checking it out. It's a start, you know. You gotta start somewhere, and live streaming is very new to me, so I'm very happy with where I started, and I hope to even keep progressing things further. And you know, I was able to have like 4 concurrent viewers recently that were all commenting fairly consistently, and it's very fun to do the little back and forth of that. So that's been really great. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I want to hit on a lot of the stuff that I did in the last year in the series, and how I felt about certain ones, with the low points really being House of Ashes and Final Fantasy 15 for me. I mean, I was so proud that I got through Elden Ring. Elden Ring was 69 episodes, and I loved every minute of playing that game. I know sometimes it was hard to record it, just with knowing how much people weren't really caring about it. It makes it a little bit hard to record it sometimes as well, but I did it anyways because I really loved the game and I loved playing it, and I wanted to put it on the channel. And I think in retrospect, I am very happy that I did, especially once I got to the finale and I got an absolutely wonderful comment on that one that really was so supportive, saying, hey, I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit, but it was like, hey, I watched your whole series. I don't normally comment on videos, and I just really wanted to compliment you and, you know, congratulate you on beating the game. And moving forward, you know, the analytics could take off at any point, and a video could just really pop off in a month or two or whenever. It was one of the comments that really was so uplifting to me and meant so much to me. It's been that specific comment and ones that are on kind of the finales that I had on Final Fantasy VII that really gave me the confidence and the energy to move forward and be sure of myself of what I'm doing and keep going and not giving up. I can't thank you all enough. So everybody who tuned into that Final Fantasy VII playthrough, and yeah, I mean, I don't even want to just limit it to the Final Fantasy VII and Elden Ring. I think those are very big staples in my head of I think points where I really needed some level of surety of if what I'm doing is good, if what I'm doing is I'm in the right direction, and looking for some level of validation, I guess. And I hate saying that because I don't think you should really need others to validate you. But when you're so unsure about something and you're just kind of getting into something, you've never done it before, it's kind of hard not to want some level of validation when it's so new to you. But either way, I mean, I ended up getting it. I mean, maybe I just got lucky with it, but it's really helped me, and it's been amazing. And I don't think I need that level of validation anymore. I mean, I've been here and I got that. I got through my first series. I got through a long series of 69 episodes that I spent 175 hours in game playing. So it's kind of established now. Now it's just, I know I can do it, and I just got to keep going and keep improving. And now it's up to me, you know. Now it's more internal and just me doing it. But yeah, so just thank you to everybody, honestly, everybody who comments, and especially those of you who have been supportive in the comments. Thank you all so much. You guys are amazing. And on that note, I kind of want to get to the next kind of stage of this video, which is more like present day stuff. And these thank you that I'm giving are definitely so valid. So like I said, thank you everybody who comments. And even if you guys don't comment, I know there's a lot of people out there, and I am this person, honestly. I almost never comment on videos. I watch them and I enjoy them, but I don't comment on them. But it doesn't mean I like the videos any less. And if they were smaller videos, like a channel more like my size, I'd probably comment more. But the ones that I have been watching are more bigger channels that already have, you know, 1,000 comments on the video, and it's like, yeah, and my comment's just lost in the jarble, and you don't really want to comment then. So yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there like that as well, and I want to show my appreciation to those people as well. Thank you for watching my videos, and I mean, thank you to everybody who's here right now, because if you're watching this video, chances are you're probably one of my subscribers, somebody who's at least watched one of my videos before. This isn't a video for people to just tune into my channel, but I mean, if you are here and you just clicked on this video, welcome. I'm glad you guys are here for my review on my channel, and I hope you guys check out my content that I'm talking about in such extent in this video. But yeah, so this video is really for you guys as my subscribers and viewers. Rather than me only reflecting to myself, I want to try to be transparent with you all, and that's really where this whole comes down to, and also to thank you guys, which was the point of this part of the video right here. And I want to give very specific thank yous, because obviously, as I said, I thank everybody here, but I want to give very, very specific thank yous to certain people. And the first of those being Jaden. I just want to give a huge thank you to you. You tuned into the Kingdom Hearts series, and that's where you kind of got grabbed in on my channel, and you recommended various games. Little Nightmares is one of the ones that we played on the channel now, and I freaking love that game. You're in the comments all the time, commenting to me, and it's been amazing. And not only that, but then you've joined me in the live streams that I've done, and agreed to be a moderator on the channel as well. And I can't thank you enough. Massively supportive for both me and Raina in the Kingdom Hearts series, and just me as well, and in streaming, which is something that's very new to me, and the support is definitely appreciated going into something that's that's so new. It doesn't even end there, because you even are helping me with a melding guide for a future Kingdom Hearts game, and that is incredible. I can't imagine the amount of time that takes you, and I'm immensely grateful to you for your lovely support, and for you're just an awesome person. I mean, I obviously don't know you personally, but just from the comments and us talking in there and in live streams and stuff, it's you seem like a very, very awesome person, and I wish only the best for you. And moving on to the next very, very big thank you that I want to do, you know, probably the most important one, honestly, is Rain. I need to give a huge thank you to Rain, as someone who's been joined me on the channel and in various series, and been watching more series than I'm in videos than I'm pretty sure anybody else on the channel. She has been not only participating in my channel and being there, but also supporting me from the background as well, and just watching videos that even I do by myself. I cannot thank you enough. I think it's very important to note too, like going into Kingdom Hearts, I approached her too, and I'm like, hey, I want to do Kingdom Hearts. I'd love to play those games. A lot of them I haven't played, even though I know the story, but I want to bring someone on that, you know, hasn't experienced it before, and she was willing to do it. And I'm like, I just need to lay this out for you of what to expect, because Kingdom Hearts is not just one game. It's a big series, and it's going to take a huge time commitment to do that over the course of, you know, quite a long time. And she understood what she was getting into. I clearly stated how many games there were in here and what exactly we were getting into. She was very willing to do it. Obviously, we've been doing it for a while, and the amount of time that we have both committed, and the time that she takes out of her every week that we record Kingdom Hearts has been absolutely amazing. Her willingness to even join me on some of the Elden Ring games, where we were kind of practicing doing a YouTube video together, and I am so thankful for that. And the support alone that you give me is absolutely immense from the very beginning, from Final Fantasy VII. I mean, she watched that whole series and has supported me through Elden Ring, and we watched Final Fantasy 15, even though that wasn't the greatest series ever, and obviously all the Kingdom Hearts games as well. I don't know that I could have done this without her, and I know the comments have been very helpful for me and supporting me and keeping me moving forward. But I mean, in all honesty, if I didn't have her support, especially in the beginning stages of Final Fantasy VII, it would have been a lot harder for me, and I don't know that I would have been able to do as well as I did. So I know I've been rambling for a while about it, but my appreciation cannot be understated, and thank you so much, Rain. Even for joining me in live streams and stuff that you're in and not in. It's absolutely great, and I just wanted to give a huge thank you on the channel to you. I know I thank you all the time outside of YouTube here, but I wanted to give you a very direct one here as well. So moving on to some more kind of YouTube advice, if you will, and, you know, take this with a grain of salt, I guess, because you look at my channel and I'm at like 90 subs, right? And I've been doing this for a year, so how much of my advice do you want to follow? Because, you know, some people do better than me and can have more like 1,000 views in it, or subscribers in a year. But I'm the type of person who thinks that you can get inspiration and different perspective from anywhere. I hope that no matter what you take away from my advice, hopefully it can at least provide you some level of insight in terms of perspective, or something that can benefit you in some way. So I do want to take this time to give at least some of my experience and a couple tips. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it, because there's a lot of videos that do it better than I will here, but there's some things that I just want to say as well. So first things first, I think I want to start from starting a YouTube channel. And if any of you guys are even streaming, if you guys are trying to get into streaming, if you guys are trying to get into making a YouTube channel and doing uploads, and you're like, oh well, I'm just gonna wait till I get a better webcam, or I'm gonna wait until I move out of my parents' place, or I'm gonna wait until XYZ, and you're pushing it off, stop pushing it off. Just do it. If you're physically not able to do it, obviously you can't do it, but if you can do it, start. because the sooner you start, the more experience you're going to get, and nothing is going to be more valuable than experience. Nobody's going to be perfect going into it. If you're sitting there waiting for things to be perfect when you're going into it, you know, you're going to be waiting forever. You're never going to do it. So you got to go when you're ready enough. Don't wait for perfect, and you'll make mistakes, and that's fine. You'll learn the most from those mistakes, and you can move forward from it. Don't just postpone it because there's a video, maybe you're postponed it, like me. I wanted to start in high school. That was freaking a long time ago. I don't know, like 8 years, we'll say. I probably wanted to do YouTube before. I don't know that I would have been able to start physically right away on YouTube, but I probably could have started reasonably 4 years ago and done some fairly decent uploads of quality that is presentable. If I got 90 subs right now in a year, let's just say I got 90 every year, that I would have done it then, you know? That put me at 360 subs I would have had by this point. Like, and obviously there might be some other weird growth with it or something like that, but that's just to put it in perspective. I mean, not only that, but that's just assuming that things go as it did this year, and it might have gone even better 3 years ago. If I would have done a video 3 years ago on God of War, the one that came out in 2018, and I did that, maybe that one would have popped off like crazy, and I would have gotten a lot of views, and a lot of people would have subscribed to me, which would have taken off my channel, which means the videos that I did now would have done even better because I would have had more viewership from those. And you can't get that if you keep postponing it till, like I did, till this past year. That's so much more potential that you could have grown. And I just really wanted to nail that in there. If you're thinking about it and you want to do it and you are able to right now, just go for it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. Keep trying, modifying what you're doing a little bit to make it work as necessary. And if you find out it's not for you, then that's fine. Then you learn that and you can move on and do whatever else you want to do. The moment you give up is the moment you didn't make it. Until you give up, you always have a chance to make it. Get 1,000 subs or whatever you're trying to shoot for. And as long as you don't give up, there's always a chance you can make it. It's always a chance that the algorithm could kick you off and do something. So just don't give up. If you do give up, make sure it's really what you want and YouTube just isn't for you, or streaming or whatever you're doing. Another thing I want to kind of point out there as more of a tip, it doesn't necessarily mean to do this, but I think it's helpful, at least for me. If you're really good at socialness, you probably are fine with this, but for me personally, especially as someone who isn't social, antisocial, introverted, all that kind of jazz, fun stuff, you know, doing YouTube uploads before getting into streaming was massively helpful. I got so much better at just talking to myself, talking to a camera, you know, and kind of making my thoughts go outwards instead of stuck in my head. And it has been a very good experience for me to be a little bit more descriptive with my words and outward thinking, I suppose, that people want to see. They want to see what you're thinking. It's kind of hard to watch a video when you're just watching someone physically play a game and you're like, I want to know what their thoughts are. What do they think's happening with the plot, you know? And things like that. And also just, you know, telling weird stories if something reminds you of something, laughing at things, making jokes, you know, that kind of thing. And it's something I'm definitely still working on today. I'm definitely not perfect with it by any means, but I'm definitely better than I was a year ago and a hell of a lot better than I was 3 years ago. I'm very proud of myself, and pat on the back for me. But yeah, so the point to make it there is it can be easier for you getting into live streams, especially if you struggle with talking to yourself in front of a camera. It's just good practice, and you don't have to record it and upload it if you don't want to. You could just be playing a game on the couch and just practice commentating on your video and making some fun jokes or doing some fun thing in the game that's just kind of funny, or whatever you want to do. Honestly, just practice it. And if it's not gaming, because obviously I'm talking about gaming, there's probably still ways that you can practice whatever video you're gonna make, or if you're trying to live stream that thing, practicing doing your little live stream thing. I don't want it to just be necessarily applicable to gaming, because you can do it for other things as well. And then I think the last point that I really have here is more in terms of gaming, I guess, but you can also make this applicable to other things. If what you're doing and getting into, and just from my example, specifically from my experience, is Final Fantasy 15, you know, I'm playing this game and I'm realizing I'm not liking it, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse as it goes, and I'm getting less motivation to do it, and it means that video quality is getting less and less. My emotional state and mental state of doing it is harder and harder, and it's just not worth it. Don't be afraid to just stop something and switch gears. And in the gaming sense, stop a game and play a new game. Just leave a series undone. I was fearful that I didn't want to do it. I wanted to make sure everything was done and complete on my channel, but you know, when you're playing a game that you're not sure if you're gonna like, it's always a chance you won't like it. And do not be afraid to give up, because it's probably going to affect the quality of your content. If not now, then down the line it might. I think that's the gist of like the streaming advice that I have for right now. And maybe I'll do some more later. And I have other like advice that I have in my head, but some of it's been taken care of in other videos that you might find on YouTube. And this video isn't necessarily specifically for that, but if something you guys are interested in the future, I can try to do my own little recommendation for things. I mean, there's so many videos that I've watched for titles and thumbnails, how to make thumbnails, how to keep people watching your video, watch time, getting better watch time, or views, you know, whatever. There's a huge, it feels like endless amount of stuff that goes into how to be the best you can on YouTube, and it's a lot to take in. And in that regard, you know what, here's another piece of advice: take it a step at a time. If you try to tackle all those 75,000 things that people are going to throw at you and recommendations on how to make your YouTube channel better, you very well might go insane. You can tackle a couple of them at a time, but also don't be afraid, especially when you're starting out. You know, try to do it the best you can, but moving forward, try to keep making steps in the right directions. You don't have to make leaps and bounds. I just recommend you taking steps in the right direction. Like, for example, what I've done is I kind of started with my thumbnails and I've done so many different things with my thumbnails. If you guys have seen them, you can see that I've done various things, from having my face on there, which is what I started with, and I ended up taking some things off. Sometimes I put a bunch of crap on my thumbnail, and you know, sometimes I just put one face on there, and there's a lot of things that I've learned from what works on there, and not even just the thumbnails, but things to say in the title as well, and to make it a little bit more appealing. This is all stuff to keep in mind when you're getting into YouTube, and like I said, I could make a video on it at some point, but I'd probably only do if there's interest in that. That's not really what my channel circles around. This one's just a very special video that I want to do as a little review of the year. So moving on here, I want to talk more about the future and where I see things going this year. So starting off with the next series that we're going to be doing after Crisis Core, which I'm expecting that one to probably run till the end of January. Early February, we're probably expecting a new game, which we will be doing. We'll be getting back into Kingdom Hearts. I mean, we've kind of had a bit of a hiatus here it'll end up being roughly 2 months with some streams mixed in. And so that is going to be Birth by Sleep. We'll be starting that. Rain will be coming back for that, obviously. Can't do that series without her at this point. We are committed. Now, going into the placement of Pokemon Scarlet, which Scarlet's probably going to take us into February. I don't know exactly how far into February. The big question I have is I don't know what you guys exactly want to see in a live stream, and what games are better to live stream to you guys versus uploads. And the things that I've been more speculating being more of the live streaming things are open world games. If there's any like open world games you want to play, those are definitely going to be better for live streaming, and I probably won't want to upload those too much. Elden Ring was a bit of an oddball, but it was also a good test. 69 episodes of Elden Ring lasting 6 months on my channel is probably not ideal for series. Otherwise, I'll be playing 4 games a year if they're all open world games. But anyway, so some of those open world games I was thinking of are like The Witcher, Horizon, Xenoblade 3, but I haven't played the first two on the channel, so I'm a little bit more hesitant on that one. Cyberpunk was one I thought about as well. I don't know how nudity works with some of that stuff though. I'm not sure if it's just like an 18+ thing. That's something I'd have to learn. I know people do stream it though, so it must be okay in some way or another. I just have to look into it more, but these are just options I want to throw out there too. But some other games that aren't open world that I've thought about also, which I guess Breath of the Wild is also an option. The new one, Tears of the Kingdom, that would come out in May. Obviously it's not out yet, but that's one to throw out there. Hogwarts Legacy is one that's going to be coming out. That's one that I'm going to play no matter what. But whether or not I stream that / record it or whatever you guys want to see, is kind of up in the air. I will be playing it. So if there's interest in that, definitely that's an option down in the comments too. But yeah, some other games are like God of War, Mass Effect. I had someone in stream talk about Jedi Fallen Order, and I know there's a new one that's coming out, so that could be interesting as well. Yeah, I think those are the gist of the games I can currently think of off the top of my head right now. Obviously, feel free to leave more in the comments and leave as many as possible in the comments that you can, and where there's crossover between you guys is where I'm gonna more lean towards when thinking about games coming up in the future. So like I said, if you guys have more options than what I gave, definitely give it. And also what kind of games you want to see streamed and be there with me playing, and ones that you want to see edited down and more of the condensed version of, I guess. Another thing I want to talk about in regards to streaming and honestly videos in general, just a potential, and I don't think it's anytime soon necessarily, and for all I know, it won't happen at all. There is potential for a upload reduction instead of 5 uploads a week, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna take it out. I'm leaning more towards the upload side of things, just because we only do 2 streams, but we do 3 uploads, so there's a little more wiggle room to remove one of those. Like I said, don't worry, I don't know if this is happening yet, but I want to keep you guys in the loop in case it does, just due to the fact of how much time I spend on my YouTube stuff. As you guys are probably aware, I have a full-time job as well. Sometimes I'm working overtime for that. You know, it takes, I spend an hour of commuting every day for this, which is another hour gone. Obviously I have to sleep, so that's even more time gone. And parts of this past year where I was spending 60 plus hours a week between work and working on YouTube, and it's very, very hard to have, well, free time first off for myself, and second off to have a personal life as well. I mean, as you guys probably know, because I've made so many jokes about it, I am single, and I would not like to be single for my entire life, and I would like to have a girlfriend at some point, but it's very hard to do that, and I think it's not right of me to even be looking for a girlfriend right now when I am so busy with work / YouTube stuff. So I'm just clearly not ready for that in that regard, which is why I don't even look for it right now. But it's something that I would like to look for in the moderately near future. But yeah, I also get better at streamlining things on the editing end and streaming end and all that, where I can do it faster than I could at the beginning of last year. And I think streaming has helped me as well, because I'm only editing now 3 videos a week instead of 5. And editing can take quite a while sometimes, especially when I get crazy with the edits. So that's why I'm very up in the air about whether the schedule will change. I think if it does change though, it won't change drastically. I think the most that I'm seeing right now is maybe an upload gone from the recorded side. Like I said, keep posted on that. I'm not sure, but I will definitely let you all know if and when that happens. Now on to something that I kind of want your guys' feedback on and what you guys are interested in. I have been throwing around the idea, and I've wanted to do this since I started my channel, but I wanted to wait till I had enough viewership and interest in it, to be honest. And that is a Discord server. As I said before, I love communicating with you guys in the comments, and it feels limited sometimes when it's in the comment section, very attuned to that video. And I wouldn't mind interacting with you guys even more outside of those videos specifically, and not necessarily about the videos, you know, just in general life. Sending a picture of your dog, or if I'm dog sitting, sending a picture of a dog I'm dog sitting, or talking about how crappy the weather is. I don't know, but we could literally talk about anything, you know. We could talk about how Tifa is an amazing character in Final Fantasy VII. We could talk about how dogs are the best pet. Bite me, you know, whatever you want. And I think that's a fun place to kind of interact with you guys more, and even get to know me more outside of my videos and outside of video games specifically. I don't know, I think it's really cool, and it's very important for me, for both you guys to get to know me better, and I'd love to connect with you guys better as well. I think that's the perfect place to do that. But I also don't want to start a Discord server and not really have my channel at a place where it's ready for that interaction. That's why I'm kind of reaching out here in this video, and at least telling you guys that it's something I've thought about since I started my YouTube channel, and more seriously the last 6 months. If there's enough people kind of interested in it, it's something that I would try to get into sooner rather than later. But I just think it would be really fun, and I'd personally really enjoy it. So yeah, let me know on that. And I think that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to say in this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know this is a little bit of a weird video and a different one, but for those of you who have stuck around to this point or skipped around to this point, I appreciate you guys, and thank you all so much. I just want to give a huge thank you again to everybody out there. For those of you who comment, those of you who don't comment and view the videos, those of you in my live streams who join me to make me feel like I'm less alone. And then thank you to my mods, both Rain and Jaden in my live streams. I appreciate you guys so much. This video is primarily me both reviewing myself and letting you guys know what's up going into the future, and more importantly to me personally is thanking you guys, because I wouldn't be where I am today without all of you. So I appreciate you guys so much. And on that note, I think I will be signing this one off here, and let's all hope 2023 is an amazing year for everyone and much better than some past years. I hope you guys all achieve whatever you guys want to this year, and I hope you guys are all happy and healthy out there as possible. So thank you everybody all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everybody.